Season 6 is supposed to be the concluding installment of The Expanse, but is it really the end? And where can we expect the storylines to go in this possibly final season?
I don't know.
The events Marco Inero set in motion are going to be the basis of the central plot in Season 5, and probably in Season 6 as well. We'll talk about what this could mean for each of our main characters, and since the show is based on a series of 500-page books, 9 of them all together, there's plenty of material giving us a hint of where the story could go in Season 6 and beyond. Season 6 may not be the last. Authors Daniel Abram and Ty Franck, who created the Expanse book series, are also involved in the TV show as screenwriters. They told Entertainment Weekly there's a very strong possibility that Season 6 is not really the final season. Although Amazon announced a cancellation of the show, there's no way the content of all 9 books could be wrapped up in this remaining season. This is why Frank and Abram plan to leave their audience with an ending that's not a cliffhanger, but also not a definite conclusion. As Frank said in an interview with Polygon, I think one of the things that is sort of an outmoded idea is the idea of being canceled. And he's got a point. With shows from the 90s like Full House and The X-Files being revived today, I mean, there's no reason The Expanse couldn't follow their example. There are almost endless channels and streaming services to choose from, and The Expanse could probably find a new home, just as it did after it was canceled by Sci-Fi, but was able to continue with Amazon.
Welcome home.
Interestingly enough, Shohreh Aghdashloo, who plays Avasarala, expressed a similar opinion. In an interview with Collider, she recalled her first day on set. At this point, she had been signed for a 1-year contract, but her instincts were telling her something else. She remembers turning to Wes Chatham to say it was going to be 5 to 6 years minimum. And as we know, 6 years later, she was spot on. Aghdashloo also said Wes imitated her saying 5 to 6 years minimum in her trademark voice.
Minimum of 5 or 6 years.
Which is something we would love to hear, and he is still puzzled by how she could have known about the show's longevity. But to tell you the truth, I don't think that story is finished here, she added.
My instinct tells me this is not the end.
Since Aghdashloo reports having another gut feeling regarding the future of the show beyond Amazon, it's probably a good idea to listen to her. Maybe she's in contact with some mysterious alien intelligence that communicates across time and space and already knows that more seasons of The Expanse are in the works. So far, each season has corresponded more or less to each book, so Season 6 should draw from Book 6, Babylon's Ashes. It describes the outcome of the asteroid strike and the final conflict with the Free Navy. Some people have theorized that Season 6 might try to wrap up the story by cramming material from Books 6 through 9, but this seems unlikely.
How in the hell?
As showrunner Naren Shankar said, there's a natural ending at the end of Book 6 that both closes this chapter of the show and the big story, but it also leaves the door open for more to come later. But yeah, if you know the books, packing the material from Book 7, 8, 9 into Season 6 would be like 50 episodes long. Now, you might be wondering, what is it about Book 6 that makes for such a good endpoint? Those who have read Books 7 through 9 are already aware that the plot takes us 30 years into the future. But what's gonna happen in those final 3 books, you might ask?
Tell me! Tell me what happened!
What about Books 7 and 9? They deal with a new political situation that emerges in the aftermath of Marco Inero's attack on the inner planets. Earth and Mars will never quite be the same after this, and there's a new government called the Transport Union, which controls travel through the Ring Gate. The new villain is the leader of the Laconian Empire, which takes its cue from the worst of Martian culture and making it basically a police state. And yes, all of our main characters are going to be much more wrinkly at that point, unless they discovered some kind of miraculous skin cream. It's possible. They have amazing space travel technology, so why not make some advances in skin cream as well? Using makeup or special effects to age actors has not always worked out so well. Maybe that's why The Expanse needs to take a break and allow the cast to age naturally. We hope we don't have to wait 30 years for more episodes to come out, though. Anyway, if Season 6 roughly matches the events described in Book 6, let's discuss, without too many spoilers, what might be in store. Much like Avasarala, who is separated from her husband and removed from political leadership, Holden needs to adjust to a new reality where his crew have all gone their separate ways. It was a difficult moment when Naomi had to leave Jim behind to find her son. But it's good to see that Jim has the emotional maturity to understand her point of view, and even though they're gonna be apart for a while, their relationship is still strong. Season 5 is more of a reflective time for Holden, when he hangs out at Tycho Station and generally tries to be helpful by bringing coffee to engineers and rescuing cheeky journalists. He is less focused on the mystery of the alien race found on Ilus, but this is a plot strand that is certain to come to foreground later on, most likely beyond Season 6. We can safely assume that Holden will work out at least some of his issues concerning what happened on Ilus so that by Season 6, he can be in good fighting shape to face Marco and Eros. If Season 5 is all about our main characters going their separate ways, Season 6 should see them reunited. Each one of them has to face their demons before they can give their all in the final showdown with Eros. For Bobby, it's coming to terms with the collapse of the Martian society. She has always been a patriot, but now her dream of a strong Mars is crushed, as is her spirit. While she investigates the corruption of Marshall officials with Alex, she admits to feeling emotionally drained because of how strongly the tragedy of her home planet affected her. She also provides a hint that serving a worthwhile cause is the way to overcome these feelings of disenchantment. Since Bobby is a woman of her word, we can expect her to follow through and put those muscles to good use. She's an honorary member of the crew anyway, so we're not giving away too much by saying there's a strong chance we'll see Bobby back in action and reunited with her friends on the Rossi.
I think we need each other.
As described in the novel Babylon's Ashes. With Alex trying to make amends to the family he left behind and Amos returning to Earth to settle the affairs of the woman who raised him, each of the main characters is on an individual quest to confront their past. Arguably, the most challenging of these soul-searching quests is Naomi's, since she left her child to be raised by the deranged Marco and Eros. We have to wonder, did Marco ever read his son a bedtime story? And even if he did, was it chock full of political propaganda? Whatever happens, Naomi's attempt to save Philip from Marco's influence will have more ramifications in Season 6 because the sixth novel in the series has a lot to say about the relationship between Marco and Philip. This might end up a bittersweet storyline since it would be hard, if not impossible, for Naomi to make up for abandoning her son. It might be more about the effort she makes to atone for leaving Philip rather than a happy ever after ending. And it's not only the members of the Rossi crew who want to atone for past mistakes. Clarissa had a troubled relationship with her sister Julie. And with her father, Jules Pierre Mao. The rebellious Julie had always been his favorite daughter, even though Clarissa tried her best to help her family. Clarissa never gave up on trying to win her father's love and approval, which is why she framed Holden for a bomb that she herself planted. Although this plan didn't work, at least she succeeded in winning someone's love. Amos is tough and dangerous looking on the outside, but on the inside, he's still pretty scary. However, he does have a soft spot for Clarissa. It looks like fate brought them together during the meteor strike, and it would seem unfair to Clarissa to go back to prison after that harrowing escape, so she is likely to join Amos on the Rossi. Because Clarissa made their lives difficult in the past, Holden and his crew might not be as accepting of her, but we have to admit, with her complicated and tortured past, Clarissa is a perfect match for Amos. As we've seen in previous episodes, The Expanse has a good track record of putting villains in their place, so we're likely to see the downfall of Marco and Eros because he's been a very despicable bad guy throughout. There's very little redeemable about him. It is true that the asteroid belt was oppressed by the Inners, and we can relate to Marco's desire for justice. But he kind of takes it too far, and it's hard to sympathize with someone who thinks all the many innocent lives lost are a fair price to pay for freedom. So whatever else Season 6 brings, we should see a satisfying conclusion in terms of Marco being defeated. A new political order should emerge from all the chaos, and maybe Earth, Mars, and the Belt will find more unity. James Holden is often seen by the politicians as being naive because he believes it's just too dangerous to be in conflict when dealing with volatile entities like the protomolecule. Maybe his vision will finally be embodied in reality, and lasting peace could become an option. Kamina Drummer is an amalgamation of several characters from the novels, representing a Belter whose loyalties often change according to her temper. Drummer is generally one of the good guys, but she's not above space piracy, and she wears threatening makeup 24 hours a day. Drummer has assembled a fleet of her own and is just trying to make a profit. But later in Season 5, she's forced to ally with Eros, and in Season 6, she will likely be torn between the various factions. Her storyline is most similar to that of another Belter and OPA member, Micho Pa, in the book version, but this may be a spoiler for those who have not read books 6 or 7 yet. Micho becomes the first ever president of the Transport Union, an organization that gives Belters some real power. And there's also a character named Kamina Drummer in the books. She becomes the president of the Transport Union 30 years later in Book 7. So it looks like all signs point to Drummer becoming president at some point. Did you know the Belter language is a mix of some of Earth's most common language groups? It includes words from Japanese, English, Germanic, and Slavic, to name just a few. For instance, the word wawa, which means traitor, comes from a mix of English and Hindi. What can we expect in the rest of The Expanse Season 6? I guess we'll have to stay tuned and find out. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for more The Expanse content. Thanks for watching.